Dirty dealings, corporate battles, consumer woes. This is Evening 5. Energy giant Shell is reportedly in talks with Saudi Arabia's state-owned Saudi Aramco to sell its gas station business in Malaysia, the second largest such network in the country. Citing four industry sources aware of the discussions, a Reuters report said a deal could be worth up to $1 billion, approximately 4.74 billion ringgit. According to the report, Shell declined to comment on the talks, but said Malaysia is an important country to the company. Saudi Aramco also declined to comment. London-based Shell wholly owns around 950 fuel stations across Malaysia, with only Petronas operating a bigger network. One source said talks began in late 2023 and a deal may be finalised in the coming months, while two sources briefed on the matter put a potential deal size at roughly 4 to 5 billion ringgit. The report said the sale is part of CEO Wael Sawan's efforts to focus the company's operations on the most profitable businesses. One of its sources said Shell's effort to sell its Malaysia fuel stations is consistent with its move to sell its refinery on Bukom Island in Singapore, which supplies the network. Hypermarket operator TF Value-Mart has taken legal action against GCH Retail Malaysia, the operator of Giant Hypermarket, citing loss of business and non-compliance with a court order to vacate the premises at Mukim Batu, which currently houses the 180,000 square foot Giant's branch in Batu Caves. In a statement, TF Value-Mart said it had previously entered into a tenancy agreement with the landlord, Crystal Promenade, in 2023. To assume the tenancy of the premises upon the expiration of GCH Retail's lease on January 31st, 2024. Instead of moving out, GCH Retail sued Crystal Promenade for alleged breach of contract and disruption of its operations. In a counter-claim, Crystal Promenade obtained a summary judgment in its favour, affirming the expiration date of the previous tenancy agreement and the absence of any option for GCH Retail to extend the lease beyond January 31st this year. According to TF Value-Mart, the summary judgment further stipulated that GCH Retail was obligated to surrender vacant possession of the premises, but it continues to occupy the building, prompting TF Value-Mart to pursue legal recourse. HSBC said Bank Negara is unlikely to follow its counterparts in Indonesia and the Philippines in raising interest rates when its Monetary Policy Committee meets this week. In a note, HSBC said the ringgit has been under pressure, though a rate hike is not a panacea, noting that in fact the recent experience of some Asian central banks suggests that a rate hike would not necessarily turn the tide for the broad US dollar strength. It said BNM resisted pressures to raise the overnight policy rates last November, and the same is expected this Thursday when it announces its monetary policy decision after the third of 6 scheduled reviews for the year. According to a survey of 18 economists by Bloomberg, BNM is widely expected to keep the rate unchanged at 3%. HSBC said that there is little reason to raise or lower rates as inflation remains benign amid nascent economic recovery. The lender expects the central bank to continue sounding cautiously optimistic and cite the turn in global trade cycle while keeping its wait-and-see approach on inflation pending better policy clarity. Proton Holdings saw a 17% year-on-year jump in sales as efforts in quality improvement bolstered demand. The car maker sold 11,025 vehicles versus 9,415 last year. It said sales for the first 4 months of 2024 closed stronger with 50,175 units, surpassing the 49,702 units sold in the previous corresponding period. The total industry volume for the local automotive market also saw growth over the same period, reaching an estimated 59,100 units, with a total for the year at 261,345 units. In terms of market share, Proton estimates it held around 18.7% in April alone and 19.2% year-to-date, maintaining its second position in the national automotive sales ranking. Proton's best-selling model was the Saga, while the X50 regained its top ranking for B-segment SUVs, and the S70 continued to lead sales for C-segment sedans. Proton ADA's CEO Roslan Abdullah noted that the company has witnessed improved Global Customer Products Audit or GCPA scores since 2019, instilling greater confidence among drivers. Ace market-bound Citing Logistics said the public portion of its initial public offering has been oversubscribed by 26.5 times. The integrated logistics service provider said it received 13,179 applications seeking 1.7 billion new shares against the 60 million shares it allocated to public subscription. Of this, 7,360 applications for 680.7 million shares were received for the Bumiputra portion, representing an oversubscription of 21.7 times, while the non-Bumiputra portion drew 5,819 applications for 971.8 million new shares, indicating an oversubscription rate of 31.4 times. Meanwhile, the 45 million shares allocated for its eligible directors, employees and contributors to the success of the group have been fully subscribed. The 198.5 million shares available for application by way of private placement to Bumiputra investors approved by MITI and selected investors were also fully placed out. Citing's initial public offering is priced at 13 cents a piece. It is set for listing on May 15th.